Hello everyone, this is the Transform Through Love interview series. My guest today is Lilia. Hi Lilia.
Hi, Katya. What a pleasure to be here with you.
Yeah, I'm so happy to talk to you because you shared a little bit about your story with me, and I believe that a lot of women can relate to your story, especially moms.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so what you shared with me was something that I feel a lot of women go through. Um, Maybe not as intense as you shared with me, but in somehow I feel we all experience a change when we become mothers. So you shared with me that you went through a stage where you felt depressed, right? And had
Right?
a lot of, anxiety, etc. after the birth of your two boys, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, um, in two words, it was looking at it from today's point of view. I feel it was my true search for my purpose
Yeah.
that came out as anxiety
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't have enough time to find my true purpose before I had my children.
Mm-hmm.
I went from university to my first job to my first pregnancy,
Yeah.
and and it was beautiful in many ways. But I started getting those symptoms of unease and anxiety, and also some physical symptoms that I was being sick more often. And I didn't understand first, why is this happening to me?
Mm-hmm.
And it took a long time to understand to that I needed to look further than symptoms, further than just not feeling well, and further than a lot of advice that I was given at that time.
Oh, yeah.
Because the advice was mainly medical,
Mm-hmm.
or just get some sleep, you'll be fine, the
Mm-hmm.
kids will grow up, you'll be feeling better soon.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the standard advice I got. And that's not what I needed at that point. Or maybe it was, not everything is there for a reason. Maybe it was the advice to push me and further and go look for myself.
Mm-hmm.
What are the answers that I needed? And the answers my first answers were in books,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of reading on health.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I realized that I just love reading anything about health, anything about alternative way of seeing health, not illness, but seeing health, and getting deep into the reasons why a body gets sick.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I found my passion, and that's where I found my purpose.
Oh,
Because
beautiful.
once I started realizing that every physical symptom is a untold pain, it's something that we did not express ourselves. Maybe wouldn't denied ourselves of the expression of that pain. So body speaks for you.
Mm-hmm.
That pain comes through the body instead of coming through your emotions. And when your emotions not recognized, it goes deeper. It goes further in waking you up
Mm-hmm.
until it's ill health or sickness that really wakes you up. And so let's say I'm fortunate that my body did not deteriorate too much, but it was enough to wake me up, to really say, I don't want to live in ill health
Mm-hmm.
or being dependent from any medication that changes my mood. That was just an unacceptable solution that obviously I was given by the medical doctors.
Yeah.
So that's where I found, and I had sessions with the practitioners who were practicing different techniques of energy psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where my world just changed.
Mm-hmm.
I really felt that first it was the tapping technique that brought me to total acceleration. I was so excited and delighted that something like this exists,
Mm-hmm.
because I felt better right away.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, maybe not right away. My first session, yes, but the first time I was encountered tapping was in a conference, and I can do it in London. And what happened there is very curious. I was in a room full of people, and they told us, there's a sequence, let's tap all together. And I was tapping on myself, and I realized there was this huge emotion coming up, really suffocating me. And I just started crying. And I could not stop for at least 2 hours. And that's where I felt that this technique is powerful. The power of release of emotion that was inside of me that did not have the release before. And that's when I took it as a signal that this is what I need to learn. And then things happened. Things came into my life where it was easy to find the courses, find the teachers, get there. I was even pregnant at the time. I took all the planes, and I just went and learned the technique, and it was just a marvelous way of entering the world from before. I used to be just let's say an amateur health enthusiast, although I already knew a lot about health by then.
Yeah.
And there I became certified to practice one technique. And that's where I felt like I can start already working on myself, working on my family, helping my children through some tantrums and troubles and worries and fears. And then I felt like, okay, I'm ready to go out there. And it was beautiful feeling of gaining the power. And that's where I felt I'm stepping into my real power, the power of my purpose, the power of the reason why I'm here. And obviously life then, once you're focusing on that, like I already had that feel for my purpose, so things accelerate. And so it didn't take me another years to find something new to add to my practice, but months. And suddenly I find another book by pure chance, and within 24 hours I finish it, and I call the founder of that technique saying I want a session. And that was the Lifeline technique, founded by Dr. Darren Weissman in Chicago. And by pure chance, the beautiful synchronicity of the universe, I was moving to Chicago 2 months after I read that book. And that was already in the plans. And I arrived in Chicago and went straight into his class. And that was just my the beauty of that class, the pleasure and the feeling of being in the perfectly right place where you should be was just so powerful. I mean, I think when I entered, every day I had tears in my eyes that I'm in the right place. So now I practice this technique every day, and I see people feeling so much better. And clients come back and ask for more, and I'm feeling such a fulfillment because when I was learning it, I just knew it's part of my path. And when I use it every day, I go deeper and deeper into my understanding of the process of that technique. But it's not only a technique, it's actually a philosophy of life based on all the universal laws that we we live by.
Mm-hmm.
And now, actually, I was listening to an audiobook by Jerry Nestor Hicks
Mm-hmm.
and the teachings of Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
And everything they say flows perfectly with the teachings of the lifeline technique, because these are all the universal laws.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I'm listening more and reading, I keep developing. I always keep learning more. And the Hicks, I've read some books, but not all. And now I'm thinking, in summer, even when I'm cooking, I'm listening to some powerful law of attraction material. And when they speak, I'm like feeling that's just the truth by which I live every day. And I'm always a student. To me, life is a school, and I keep absorbing, keep listening, keep integrating it into my own life before I'm going to give any advice to my clients.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going through every single step myself, and I'm actually learning on adapting those habits. I even tell my children, we talk with my husband how we can create our next goals all according to these laws and rules. And there's just this powerful feeling of coherence in what we create between all of us at home, all based on universal love. And again, it goes from just blessing your food when you eat or when you cook it for your children, or blessing your children when you see them when they're sleeping.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's so simple, but so deep. And once it's in our habits, that's how we can create that life that we can lead by example. The clients that come see you, maybe they're at a crossroads in their life, or they're still wondering about their own purpose. These are all lessons that I go through myself, so I can really, from deep inside of me, offer them solutions, universal solutions, how to see your true self, meet yourself within, and then choose a path. Not even choose it, recognize it, remember it. You see?
Absolutely.
We already know it. It's just our earthly way of living, we forget.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So,
Totally agree. Totally agree. It's like, we get into this world and we get conditioned in a way.
right.
And then we need to, let all these conditions go, and then we find the path again. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And tell me a little bit, you were sharing with me earlier that, you grew up to always be, the good girl, right? In a way, right?
Yes.
And this was like, and do you feel that the birth of your children was like a trigger for, okay, so there's something deeper, there's more, there's something that I've maybe repressed or forgotten? What do you think?
In my case, the birth of my first child, I was still being that good girl.
Mm-hmm.
I was still had packs of books about babies. I was reading them probably 2 years before I had my first baby. I was doing it all right.
Yeah.
And it's only now that I see how much energy I was using in some useless things, in some useless ways. But that was who I was at that time. And I really, with all my heart, I was doing my best.
Yeah, sure.
And it took me, and then my second son was born 2 years after.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I reached the burnout. Because doing the good girl with 2 babies and not sleeping the nights, and what, again, if there's an alarm system within me, which is anxiety, I call it just an alarm system.
Yeah.
It's going off, and there's like a fire alarm going off constantly.
Mm-hmm.
I was wondering why my babies weren't sleeping well. Right? Now I see. Of course, they were in tune with me, so they could not sleep well.
Yeah.
They were waking up, they were crying, they were waking me up at night many, many times. So it all makes sense, but in the real world, when you're in it, it is very hard. Yeah. Very, very hard. And so that's when I said, I guess this baby thing is too hard for me.
Oh, yeah.
So
I can imagine.
I made up all these stories that it's just maybe not for me. I cannot handle more than 2 kids. And, oh my God. And I mean, I have a lot of compassion for that girl. Because as years went by, I became confident as a mom. I know that, I'm fusional with my kids. I love them. I give a lot to my children, but I really learned throughout the years how much I should give and how much I should keep for myself. Not in a greedy way, but in a self-preservation way.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about anything tangible. I'm talking about time. Yeah. If I need my 2 hours for my well-being, or even just drive off and see a friend for lunch, I'm gonna arrange. I'm not everything, so kids are happy, and I can go and be happy during that period of time. Or even now with the academy, where we have live events. This year, I told my family that, 4 times this year, I'll be away for 5 to 6 days. Yeah. And it's going to be okay. Because I've created that space for myself where I feel confident and I feel deserving. Yeah. So this is very important as I went along. That's how I learned to balance motherhood and me. My true self, because I've really realized throughout these years that my true self wants to heal people, wants to be there, wants to have an impact. An impact one person at a time or a group at a time, but I need to be out there. And I'm learning a lot of techniques, a lot of material. I just got my bachelor's degree in holistic medicine. I really want to contribute to the world's well-being, because if one person, 2, 10 people feel better, that's already a group of part of our humanity that raises vibration. Yeah. So I really, truly feel I'm part of that movement of practitioners that are born and they're coming out there to raise that vibration.
Absolutely, yeah. Oh, beautiful.
You see, going back to the children, I had the 3rd baby, and a boy, when I felt like I'm ready. I'm ready because I've created that space for myself. The roles of motherhood, of my husband, who is also actively taking part in taking care of our children, it all got balanced out. We were at peace, and that's when we decided to invite another beautiful soul into our family, when we were ready. So, and we called him Michael because I always felt that Archangel Michael really helped me through this journey to find myself, to find the truth, and to have that strength to stand by my truth. so our little Michael was born 4 years ago, and I can't say it's all easy and rainbows.
Yeah.
It's a child. Child has a lot of demands, a lot of needs a lot of attention, but it was a completely different story when I knew my purpose, but I knew my duties and I knew my responsibility as a mom that the child needs to receive from me, especially in the first couple of years. Now, of course, he's more independent. He can go to school and not be with me the whole day, of course. And we are all feeling that it's balanced. Right.
Oh,
so
beautiful. Oh my gosh, I had chills all over my body when you were talking about Archangel Michael and that you named your son Michael. It's so beautiful, you know. And I hope I don't cry now. You know, I'm always, you know, when I get so in tune with someone and talk with someone, and you can relate to that because you're also highly sensitive, you know. You get into the story and you feel the emotions and you can almost start crying because it's so beautiful, right?
I know. I totally share that with you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about being a highly sensitive person, because I love this topic and I know a lot of people can relate to this, but don't necessarily know about it or don't know how to deal with it.
Right. So today I am very confident about owning my own sensitivity. Because being sensitive is a gift. And although maybe the first 20 to 25 years of our lives, we tend to be either embarrassed by it or really bothered by it. Because we're not like the other kids. We're, for example, for me, what happened when I was going from teens to my 20s and my classmates at university or when we're graduating high school, it was disco time of going to discos, dancing, and the noise bothered me. That intensity of noise, it overwhelmed me. And the crowd. I'm sensitive to crowds and to noise.
Me too.
And it took me the past years and when I got anxious after the birth of my two boys, it got worse. Because I think a lot of built up emotion from my childhood, from my teen years, was unresolved. And the alarm clock, like the fire alarm, was ringing inside of me and was very disturbing. So any stimulation from the outside made it even worse. And now I am very lucid about it. At the time, it was very bothersome. Today, I own it. I know what are my limits. I know I'm also sensitive to cold. And I know when I just have to think of my own needs. And that's about that creating that space for you, not forgetting yourself, being present and being there for yourself. So if we're going for a walk in the evening with the family or a hike or a trip, I am adapting perfectly to give myself the gift of being comfortable, being well, and enjoying that experience with the others. And you know, I have a husband and 3 boys. And they're resistant, they're strong, they're resilient, and I'm very proud of them, but they're not even going to notice if it got chilly or there was a bit of wind or there was too much noise because of some kind of, or at the airport, or there was a crowd, and all these things. I know that I'm more sensitive, and I've taught them to respect me in a way with my own sensitivity, not going overboard. I'm not a little precious flower that you, but I've really, they know, and we own it together. So I think my family is my safe space where I know that I'm protected, even if we're all together in a crowded airport, or we're all together hiking and it got chilly and we're tired. They know that they have to be careful, not careful, but attentive to mom in a loving way. Because again, I taught them that their own sensitivity is also very important, because they're boys, and there'll be way too many people who tell them they don't cry. You know?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I really keep telling them, please, if you feel like crying, please cry. Please do.
Yeah.
Don't build it up. So if you're sensitive to something, express it to yourself, at least to yourself. Or maybe a person that you really trust. So absolutely. Sensitivity is something that I think as moms, we need to teach our children to not to overcome it, not to grow up quickly, but it's the opposite. Remain that child within you that is allowed to cry, or that is allowed to express something. Again, a lot of symptoms that our physical body expresses when it's unwell, it's actually suppressed emotion that was not processed. So sensitivity is a gift, because we'll feel it much earlier than somebody who is very tough. And when you feel it and you really acknowledge a feeling, that's when it can be processed and then it can leave. The anxiety comes only when you have not processed it, you have not acknowledged an emotion, and you just push it down as if it doesn't exist. So that's what that's my work, to teach my clients about their sensitivity and their perception of emotion, really getting into a habit of actually reversing the habit of pushing it away. Acknowledging what you're feeling and owning it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. That's so beautiful. And I feel it's so important, even as moms, to really allow our kids to feel their emotions, because a lot of us were not, allowed to feel our emotions as kids, and even as adults,
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. And it's I don't only see this with boys. I have 2 boys and 2 girls, and I see this with girls as well. That they, I think my oldest daughter once told me in school that actually the boys in her class were starting to cry about something, and all the girls were, oh my gosh, what's going on with them? They are so, so emotional. And I felt this is kind of, we're now starting to change this. And it's so important to teach this our kids. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's beautiful, because now I think we're living in the era where girls and women are owning their power, and their masculine side is much more pronounced. They're having their place in as kids, they're also as strong and fierce as boys, and sometimes even more. And in the real life, in the workplace, women are even more fierce, because they need to make that space, because I think for now it's not completely equal still, but we are already in our power to go and get our place.
Yeah.
We're not shying away. We are going for it. So I think girls, for girls, is remembering that they're feminine, that they're allowed to cry. They're not going to be considered as weak if they cry. That's even more important to remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. And to not go into competition with the boys, you know. I feel there's a lot of competition going on. So that girls think, okay, we need to be like boys, and boys might think we need to be like the girls because they get, they get everything they want. They just need
Yeah.
to cry a little bit, and then they get everything they want. It's kind of reversed in a way.
It is.
Yeah.
And my sons, they complain a lot about, they come home and say, well, of course the girls got good grades because they're girls. And we have a lot of interesting conversations about this. Because who's owning their power? Are they the girls? You? Or is it, are you just aligning yourself with the group saying, poor me, the girls did better than me? I always make them think, when they come home and we have like our, piece of fruit and we just sit down and we discuss these things.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Are you being yourself? Or have you just blended into the group and took their voice? And just, getting to the truth. Yeah. And the truth is our purpose. If their purpose is to express themselves in the hallway, in an essay, in a math class, that's their purpose at this time. Yeah. Their purpose is to develop their talents now. And when I see my clients, of course, most of my clients are, late 30s, 40s, even in their 50s. When they think about their purpose, somewhere we realize that back when they were kids, they did not have that choice, or they did not see that choice. It's all perception, but especially at the time, it was not in the culture or in the traditions of their, depending from the country, but mainly Europe. It was still very strict, and boys did this and girls did that, and you raise your hand, and so getting that freedom, the feeling of freedom that you can own and say, I'm meant for something in this world. Yeah. And that's what we need to really, that beautiful flower, we need to just let it open, let it shine, let it be visible. So, today, as parents, in an environment which is much more free than it was 20, 30, 40 years ago, now we have an opportunity for them to keep that freedom from the beginning, because the society is allowing them. It's more, the boys are allowed now to be more sensitive. So we need to use that opportunity to give them the freedom to, if they want to paint and they love, or like my older son, he loves classical music, and he's owning it. He's telling everybody. He created his YouTube channel with classical music, and he's proud of it. Although I think not at any age, maybe 20 years, 30 years ago, a 14-year-old boy would be saying it out loud, not to be ridiculed, So today I think the children are very open, and we need to give them that chance to express and to maybe find their purpose even earlier, because they have the freedom.
Yeah. And I believe that we as parents, when we found our purpose, we can guide them.
Yes.
So it's much easier for them than it was for us, because we didn't have our parents tell us, okay, talk about your emotions, don't
No,
suppress your feelings, um, find your purpose. You are here for a reason. They didn't tell us that.
no,
At
no.
least not my parents.
We followed the rules.
Yeah,
We were good girls.
yeah.
And, we had our journey to getting where we're today. And
Mm,
I think the best thing we can do is to show our kids that we're leading a happy life with
yeah.
where we're passionate about what we're doing.
Mm,
When my kids know that I'm going up to my office, but I always have a grin on my face because I'm looking forward to doing what I'm going to do in my office
yeah,
because I'm living what I want to live.
yeah.
I'm doing what I want to do. And I think that is the best example we can give our children, even
Absolutely.
during the hours we're not with them, is that we're doing something that we love.
Mm-hmm.
And
Absolutely.
that's the basics for a happy life.
Yeah,
It's finding that spark in what you can do, where you can be good.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, would you tell us a little bit more? So, where can we find you? Where can someone who wants to experience what you have to offer find you?
So my website is called pegasusholistic.com,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be online within a couple of days. My great designers working hard on it. So it's a beautiful project between us, and
Yeah.
really a lot of creative energy is going into it. So that's the brand that I have created to really let people take off and fly and really find
Mm,
those wings that carry them
yeah.
on their path. So
Oh,
Pegasus, that's a flying horse, and
mm,
really, I woke up to this idea in 2012.
mm-hmm.
I just literally woke up with it,
Yeah.
jumped out of bed, and I said, I know it. It's Pegasus Holistic. I mean,
Mm,
it was just a magic moment.
mm-hmm.
So, and I came back to this brand after I had my baby, went back and started developing it, and I'm still, and I think this is for life.
Yeah.
This is my brand for life. So I'm also on Facebook, Pegasus Holistic,
Mm-hmm.
and on my personal page, Lilia Thueler.
Mm-hmm.
So those two pages are connected, and I really on Facebook I really show what my philosophy is all about.
Mm-hmm.
It's all based on every week I take a theme
Mm-hmm.
and I base my week on it where either it's gonna be and it's always I choose because
Mm,
I want to teach my clients to be in their power.
mm,
Being in our power, it means that we always have a choice how we want to feel.
absolutely. Yeah.
And again, that goes back also to Abraham's teachings and the Hicks,
Mm-hmm.
where that's exactly what they say as well.
Mm-hmm.
That our thoughts are the key to how we're going to feel. Actually, we always have the power over our thoughts. So
Mm-hmm.
we pivot, like if we don't feel good, we learn how to pivot
Mm-hmm.
and feel better. Our goal is always to feel good. And this is truly my philosophy today is when I don't feel quite good, think of how you can feel better and just take steps, take little steps. Go
Mm-hmm.
and feel tiny bit, a bit better and better and better. And that's when you can reach immense joy if
Yeah.
you do that every time and you won't go low the
Mm,
next time because you'll have a habit of going up.
mm-hmm.
So that's why I try to inspire with my posts to choose. I choose happiness. I choose laughter. I
Mm-hmm.
choose passion. I choose, and because we always have a choice.
Yeah. Mm. So important. That's such an important reminder because a lot of the times, I see people thinking they are the victim of something,
Mm-hmm.
of their circumstances, of a
Right.
situation, of their feelings even.
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful to have this reminder. We always have a choice. We always can choose. Our thoughts are the only thing we can control. We can't control anything else in the world, but we have the control over our thoughts. And with our thoughts, we create our reality. Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so Lilia, thank you so, so much
It's a
for,
pleasure. It's
yeah,
a great pleasure talking to you. Thank you
yes.
for your energy, the work you do. I'm
Oh,
sure you're going to help thousands and thousands of
I
people.
hope millions.
Millions.
Who knows?
Definitely.
It
And
doesn't know.
you're doing beautiful work. So
Thank you so
thank
much.
you.
And you too. So, thank you so much. I hope you have a beautiful time in beautiful Switzerland, where you are currently. Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you, and see you soon.
See you soon. Bye bye.